Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of the Green Wisdom Health Show. I'm Janet Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Lewis.
And we are here to bring you an exciting show about detoxifying, signs that you may need to detox. Because many of you out there, in addition to wanting to lose weight, always want to detox. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about some of the reasons why you would want to, and some of the signs that your body is giving you to tell you it's time. So, Dr. Lewis, can you educate us a little bit today about why we need a detox?
Well, in my opinion, and I have to warn people that you can get on the internet, and I've been there. Yes, I'm a dinosaur, but Janet can guide me on the internet occasionally. There's people there that say you should never detox, and that's, total farce and fallacy. So that's why I've told people for so many years, listen with your spirit of discernment. The gut will not lie to you if you listen. Most of the people that get on, they'll say, well, you should do this, you should not do this. There's always somebody there that's poo-pooing the thing that's working. Now they're doing articles why you should never do keto. Bull. Have you ever looked around the society and seen that we're a very unhealthy nation? And you can see signs of that if you really pay attention and realize that what has become common is not normal. So yes, there's people that say you should not detox, and I think they're full of stuff that they need to be detoxed from. I would like to say thank you to all the people that listen and all the people that share and all the people that get on Shooting Straight with Dr. Lewis and ask questions, which we will get to. Jen and I feel very, very blessed that we can do this, and it's just amazing what God can do and multiply what we do, multiply our efforts, and we get people that take the time to call us, write us, or even drop by if you're local, and to say thank you. And that really helps us in big ways. And I talk to people that I feel like I've known for many, many years. I just got through talking to a guy down in Port Neches, Texas. His name is Sean. And he was sent in by a guy named Eric, who they're both down there doing a really good job making the world a better place to live. And I love talking to people like that. So thank you for what you do, because Janet and I are not in control of this. We're just doing it because we think we're in service and making the world a better place to live by helping you get healthier. So thank you for your encouragement. Now, as far as detox, yes, we should all detox. And it's like some of the stuff is now becoming more and more commonly talked about, things that I've been saying for 2 or 3 decades. Yeah, I can't believe I've been around that long. But, one of the things is plastics and pesticides and things that are very, very much in your body. And I'm going to get to the notes here in a minute. I'm just kind of doing this, shooting from the hip, so to speak. I'm bad about that or good. I want to read a little excerpt here that says, scientists have proven that plasticizers or phthalates that outgas from plastic wrap and plastic trays that nearly all meats, fruits, and vegetables are encased in migrate into the food. That was United States Department of Health and Human Services, I think is where that's from, 1992 and 1993. Why are they just now beginning to talk about the plastics are a bad thing? And you know why they say plastics are a bad thing? Because they find whales washed up on the beach with many, many pounds of plastic in their stomach. Yes, it's bad for the animals, but we seem to not care about what it's doing to us. These plastics are wreaking havoc on our hormones. That's why men need testosterone shots, because these plastics, pesticides, act like estrogen. And that's why many, many men have low T, except for Sean I talked about. You're still the man. Most of us guys are jealous. That's why little girls develop their breast and menstrual cycle years before they should, because the influence on these plastics, and they really cause a problem in the body. And that's one of the reasons we have more metabolic syndrome, more cancer, more this, more that. So yes, you should detox. And there's many different ways to do that. One of the things you could do is just decide you're going to do it. Decide to live something that's called not a mediocre life. Even Brandy has begun to quote me, which is scary because she's a sweet, sweet, wonderful young lady. And now she's beginning to have some Stephenisms or redneckisms. She says, well, when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, he'll get his head out of his rear and do something about it. One of the reasons, if you think about it, that might be an indicator you need to detox is if you have, God, I'm going to get personal, an insatiable sweet tooth. That's me, and that's my excuse because my mother met us when we got off the school bus with a plate of freshly baked, warm, chewy cookies. They were still warm.
Couldn't that also mean you have yeast? I mean, I know that your mother brought you with cookies, but I'm just saying if you have an insatiable sweet tooth.
Well, if you feed it long enough, they're going to grow and overgrow. Yeast is good for baking bread and making beer, but that's about it. Oh. Scrolling across Good Morning America this morning, it said something about the Center for Disease Control has recognized that there is drug-resistant yeast that's actually emerging as a global threat. The superbug is sickening thousands of people. And what is going to happen, just sit back and watch, they're going to find a drug that'll get past this and, help. They never tell you, well, hey, all you got to do is boost your immune system, and there's plenty of herbs that will do that and take care of these stealth pathogens. Now I'm going down a rabbit hole already, but there are stealth pathogens, and I've got a lot of notes here for that. But
go ahead and talk about your insatiable sweet tooth. I got you off track with that. Mama met you with cookies. So,
well, I had ice cream 2 times day before yesterday, and I was up all night having natural detox. It was not fun all night long. So, yeah, if you have these cravings, then you need to detox. And we had one of my long-term chiropractic patients yesterday said, but I like my bread, and he couldn't feel his feet, and he was having all kinds of ever-increasing diabetic neuropathy. And
he was a full-fledged diabetic.
Yeah, and I like him. He's a really good guy, but he didn't want to do anything, and he didn't want to put any effort into it, and he didn't want to put any money into it. My wife is the sweetest woman in the world, but she said something that even shocked me about, oh, you want me to pull a
miracle
out of my thin air.
That's right.
Yeah. Read between the lines, people. She was frustrated with me. It's like, we're so blooming busy. If you're not committed to getting well, go ahead and have a tattoo. It's like, I enjoyed my bread when they cut your leg off, and have another line that says, I enjoyed my bread even more when they cut higher up on your leg, and eventually you're going to lose weight because your leg's going to weigh, 50 pounds apiece.
It just mostly saddens us to watch these people that have a choice, and they keep choosing not to be healthy. They want to stay stuck where they are, and you can't motivate somebody to do something that doesn't want to do it.
Sadden is a good word. Frustration is another one, because it really does bother me.
Yeah.
The security of your mediocre present sometimes is more comfortable than the adventure of trying to be more, better, and healthier in the future. Don't get complacent, folks.
Yeah, so I think that's what upset me. It's like we have answers here, obvious answers. The lab work changes. For those of you that are new to our show, thank you for joining it. But we do lab work, so we're not guessing at what's wrong. We actually can see on lab what's wrong and nutritionally missing. And we have products that can actually help that and start reversing it. And this man said, well, I heard on the internet there are 5 supplements to take and you won't be a diabetic anymore. And
without changing his diet.
Right. And I said, so you want me to stand here and lie to you and tell you that that's all you need to do is just take these supplements without a diet change and you won't be a diabetic? And he goes, well, that's what he said he could do. I said, well, then you need to follow him, because I'm not going to lie to you. It takes effort. It takes diet changes. I offered him the keto diet for free. He didn't want to buy supplements. I told him, go change to the keto diet. He goes, well, I work shift work. I have to have a sandwich.
He said, but I like my bread. We're frustrated because we love the guy. He's a great guy, and we want to help him.
And he's young, and it's so sad to watch that just sit there. So, yes, Dr. Lewis is right. Thank you for all the people that are out there that are our patients and listen. And those of you that are listening, that are trying to do something right, that you're trying to learn and educate yourselves, I commend you because you're trying to have a life worth living.
And you're building up other people, and the blessings come back at you. I got Joe up in Saline, Michigan. He'll just email me or something out of the wild blue and says, I think I need to pray for you. And it's like, how do you know? It's incredible, the wonderful people. And we want to make a bigger impact. So we'll get back onto a different rabbit trail here. It's like another reason you need to
detox is by experiencing digestive distress.
Well, that's what I experienced when I ate ice cream twice the day before yesterday. But my body did it naturally. But yes, I have to take something to kill the yeast down and to increase the probiotics.
But you're asking, what is digestive distress? I'll bet.
Well, if your spouse is over there passing more gas than Exxon, you may have that. If a laxative is a major food group, okay, another Stephenism.
That's good.
Sorry, I'm getting
bloated,
frisky.
belching, lack of trains coming through the tunnel. If people don't know that story, that's
flapping the covers for your wife and grossing her out with that horrid smell.
Right. You need to be having a bowel movement every time you eat a meal within 30 minutes to an hour. And if people think that's odd, well, I always tell them, when you see 3 trains come through a tunnel, how many are supposed to come out on the other side? And if they're not, where did it go? That's the same way with your meals. Is where are they? Mm-hmm. Well, they're putrefying in your digestive tract, and all of that leaches out to organ health.
Then you roll up the windows and gross out your kids when you pass gas. You know me, and you've done it.
Right. And then, or you say, hey, I think I need a little more deodorant because I have a little more body odor than normal because it's coming out through your skin because you're toxic. Or your skin has a lot of acne and rashes and rough, dry places because that's your second eliminative channel. And if it's not coming out through your colon, then it's trying to come out through your skin.
Good point. And that goes with, gut health we'd talked about and allergies. And people say, but I get it every year. It's like, well, just because the pine pollen's, here down in the South from Georgia to East Texas, that doesn't mean you have to have allergic reactions to it. And if you get your GI tract healthy, you can pretty much be, for the most part, immune to that. I used to bush hog down on the deer lease, and I'd feel like somebody nailed me to the cross through my bronchi and miss work over it. And now I can bush hog through the deer lease, blow my nose the next morning, I'm good to go. But I fixed my gut health, therefore the allergies go away.
And I'll tell you a couple of things that are really great for allergy this time of year that, is flying off our shelves.
Yeah.
One of them is called Sinatrol. It's for congested sinuses. And the other one is called Dehist, and it's for running allergies.
And it's also for histamine reaction from the foods you may be allergic to. So Dehist is good for a lot of things.
That stuff's awesome. I'm actually taking a little bit of both because it's like when you do the Sinatrol and it's not congested anymore, then it becomes running. So I have to have the Dehist to dry it back up. So I do 2 of one and 1 of the other. It works great.
Yeah, she likes to do things like that. She's a little more organized than some of us. And if you don't feel good, but you're eating clean, like Sean that I just talked to down in Port Neches, he said, well, I'm eating better, but I still feel terrible. I said, yeah, wait in 3 weeks. He's going to feel great. In 3 months, he's going to feel even better. The skin problems that Janet talked about, sometimes it can be hormonal, but then the hormones are off because of the plastics and pesticides, because you don't have complete digestion. If your protein's low on your lab, it's like, well, you don't even digest the protein sheath on a yeast, a fungus, or a virus. And then it goes back to that drug-resistant yeast the CDC says is emerging as a global threat. So just increasing your digestion and your acid, even though you think you have high acid, it's usually low acid. So digestive enzymes. I like orthodigestime. It's my favorite. Skin problems. We sell a lot of cosmetics. That's the name of a supplement. The other thing people say, but I'm always exhausted. Well, that could be adrenal fatigue. That can be a thyroid problem. It can be a toxic buildup. Microbiome imbalance, which means not enough probiotics in the GI tract. And Janet gives me a massive amount of probiotics every night. And that's because she loves me. It's not because she's protecting herself from gas later on. I'm sure that's not it. But
never.
Think about your cortisol. If your cortisol goes high, it's going to put stress on your thyroid, your hypothalamus, and pituitary in your brain. And eventually you're going to blow it out and go low, which is what I did to myself. We love our job, but we're kind of overworked. But now, please, come on in. We can still take care of you, and we'll do a good job of it. When you're not as mentally sharp, and Janet pays attention to me when I'm searching for words and I'm just not quite getting things out as fast as I should, she's really good to give me different supplements. And I'm to the point, it's like I've never been respected that much. I just say, yes, ma'am, thank you very much. So brain fog, that's usually an overgrowth of yeast. You've heard me talk about, well, the yeast decrease or do something with the enzyme, the thiominase enzyme. So we use benfotiamine for that. We use a lot of methyl B12. We use a lot of methyl CPG. Those are really, really good because when you get inflamed, that actually does damage to your blood-brain barrier and creates what they call leaky brain. So it's very similar to leaky gut. So the proper detox can help. And other people say, well, my joints are always sore. Had a sweet lady come in yesterday, and she said that. And I said, well, do this and this. She says, okay. And she'll be back in 3 days saying how much better she feels. And she said, I used to do y'all stuff, and I've never felt as good, but I got tired of taking supplements. I said, I understand. I get tired of putting $50 of gas in my truck, but you have to do it to keep going. So you just got to figure out that you're a child of God, you're worth it. So spend a little money, do a little effort, put it in, and your body is smart enough to bless you with it. Here's another one. People say, I'm so stressed. Well, number one of the reasons we're stressed is because we talk about it all the time. And yes, we do have stresses, but that can be mental stress, physical stress, spiritual stress, financial stress. It can be the chemical stress that I talk about, the lack of nutrition, so your body can't create the energy it should. And these things, different kind of stresses can actually create anxiety, depression, but it can also do things like leaky gut, autoimmune conditions. So once you get your body to a higher plateau or higher level of health, what really can happen, and usually does happen, is you still have the same amount of stresses, but it doesn't kick your butt and hurt you. So your mental state has a lot to do with your microbiome, the good bacteria. You've heard me talk about that, how different types can decrease stress, anxiety, and depression. And this is well researched. So if you have an ADD, ADHD kid, all you've got to do, it's not always this simple, but you've got to get probiotics in them. My little 5-year-old granddaughter says, I want Papa's, what she call them, magic little unicorn sprinkles or something like that. And it's one of the probiotics that is loose and actually tastes really good. And
great for gum health.
Yeah, and I just throw some in my mouth from time to time because those particular bacteria can actually eat the plaque off your teeth. And my dentist says it's working real well. And if you're struggling to lose weight, well, we have a weight loss probiotic that little Brandy here says works. I'm not taking it, but the good probiotics can help you lose weight. They're touting several different ones as they work. We've tried a couple with not great success. Some. I might have lost 5 or 6 pounds, but
I actually saw a lady that could not lose weight, and she's a full-blown diabetic, and she's been trying for months, and God love her, she's been doing our program for probably coming up on a year.
She feels great, but she has not lost weight.
And she finally started that ProBiomax Lean probiotic, and she's lost like 12 pounds now, and she says, people are beginning to notice that I'm getting thin. And I said, you look really good. So that stuff does work. It is a Zymogen product, so you have to be upgraded in our account.
You have to call us.
Yeah, or email me, and I can upgrade your account where you can see that, because they're very particular about how you purchase that. They want to make sure that you know what you're getting. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. We have not had a weight loss product like that's been easy to take and a probiotic all at the same time. But I wanted you to talk a little bit about core support, because that is one of our big liver detox sellers because of its phase 2 detoxification. And phase 2 detoxification is basically for people that do or have been on a lot of antibiotic use. And I know people coming off the flu season have been on a lot of that.
Or drink too much, or which is not much at all, or people that take medications, which, although many times necessary, that they still do bad things in the body. Right. It's a really good thing. It's really popular. We're really commonly sell out of it, so we've had to up our stock. It has many things in it, a couple of different kinds of really good fibers, but not enough to stop you up. And it has glycine in it, and there's a lot of research on glycine, which is an amino acid that is major detox. And we otherwise use trimethylglycine or dimethylglycine, but this is just straight glycine, works real well. It has a high ORAC value blend of the different vegetables. It has taurine, glutamine, acetyl-L-carnitine. You want to know about a miracle, that a carnitine is like, holy cow, a miracle. I take it straight. It's for brain health and heart health and all kinds of other things I won't talk about. Then it's got N-acetylcysteine, alpha-lipoic acid, green tea, da-da-da-da-da. It goes on and on and on, and this stuff is kick butt good stuff. I mean, we really do sell out. Some people order 3, 4, 5 bottles because they want to get everybody in their family on it. And we've had great success with it. People say, well, I just took it for a week, and I can't believe how good I feel. I have mental clarity. Oh, my God, my sex drive is back. I said, well, tell your wife I'm sorry, or you're welcome, whatever she wants to say. And people say, well, I don't know, but I'm losing weight. Is it a fluke? I said, no, probably not.
And the other one that we are big using is PhytoCore, because PhytoCore we use when people do lab work primarily. We're able to see liver enzymes if they're elevated. And even though your doctor may say, your liver enzymes are fine, if they're not optimal, you're going to be toxic and need to detox. So PhytoCore is the one we use for that, because it does phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. And we also have like a 1 week supply of it is a Core Restore package. So that PhytoCore is in there, the core support Dr. Lewis talked about. It's all in there, and you don't have to think about it. And there's a little book in there on how to there's some recipes and things. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and this cleans up liver enzymes faster than anything we've ever used, and we've used some really good products in the past and still have some of those. But I've just seen, I use the analogy, well, even though the AST and ALTs, the range goes from 0 to 40 or 0 to 44, if it gets up around 25 to 30, between 25 and 30, that is the analogous to you're changing the oil in your car, but you're not changing the filter, and it's getting a little clogged up with particulate matter. You want it roughly at about 18 to 22-ish, and if you're getting toward 28 or 30, you're probably going into non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Unless you drink a lot, then it could be alcoholic-induced. But this PhytoCore is like, holy cow. I'm impressed, and Janet makes sure I get it, if that tells you anything.
And we want to make sure that we answer the questions that were asked on Shooting Straight with Dr. Lewis on Facebook. And if you're not a member of that, please add that to your list to do, and Dr. Lewis will accept it, and you'll be able to ask him questions and ask questions for the podcast here. And we appreciate all of our patients and people that aren't patients that are asking these things. So we want to make sure that we answer them. And the first one comes from Richard. He says his sister's been suffering with shingles for almost 2 years, tried acupuncture, chiropractor, herbal remedies, no results. Lots of nerve pain. Do you have any suggestions?
Absolutely. Fill out the health survey and let's get some lab work. I personally have had shingles once. I know how bad it hurts. I didn't know what was going on. I was 30 years old, and it's like, holy cow, it hurt like crazy. And I'm not really big on the drug thing, but when my osteopath gave me some drugs, I said, thank you very much, sir, and I took them because shingles hurts like crazy. But you have to boost the immune system, and you have to do things that will take care of these so-called stealth pathogens. And on this stealth pathogen, we have different protocols for that. You want to do it for about 6 months-ish, but you want to go on one thing or two things for a while, then you want to change to something else, and then you want to change back so that you fool them into thinking the coast is clear and they'll come out, and then you throw something else at them. And these pathogens suck energy, not just causing the pain of shingles. I really think she should call me. I've gotten some really good results with most people. The ones that did it, jumped in and had the faith to follow through, have gotten great results. And it is a horrible, horrible pain. So be sympathetic to her, please.
And that's the health survey on greenwisdomhealth.com, located at the top bar there. And then he'll take a look at it and call. And then we have a question from Danny. Any recommendations for someone with Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy? My brother has lost his vision. He's looking for suggestions on lifestyle and diet or herb supplements to help at least stabilize where his vision is now. He's got about 12% in one eye and 17% in the other, but that's a tough one. His goal is to keep it where it is as versus losing all of it, which happens a lot with people with his mutation. Any suggestions would be great.
And, I wrote back and said, I don't really know. That is a tough one. I've read a lot of research that says that you can alter genetic expression by up to 80 to 90 to 95%. And that's not an easy thing. So, genetics do kind of rule us, but you can alter that expression. So I would say, Danny, have him call me or fill out the health survey and let's talk. And one part of my answer was I'm a big advocate of throwing it in and asking God to bless it, because people over worry about these things and they try to get on the internet and be in control. It's not going to happen that way. Throw it in, quit stressing about it, knowing you're doing the best you can do. And your life will be blessed, to what degree, God only knows. But without the nutrients, because you can't get enough out of your food, you don't have any chance at all.
Awesome. Tricia wants to hear something about the weather now that it's warming up, on the sun and skin health. Sunscreen versus tan versus vitamin D absorption.
So I told Tricia, I just love this lady. She's got an incredible sense of humor. I said, it's just throw in enough wine until you feel the warm glow, and then you've had enough sun. Really and truly, I don't know. Repeat that, Janet.
He's done forgot what his answer was.
I was thinking about a former conversation with Tricia, so go ahead.
She wants to know sunscreen versus tan versus vitamin D absorption. Which one's best? What should you do?
I'm not a big fan of sunscreen because that is one very high in the estrogen mimicking hormones, and I don't think there's really any evidence that the sun creates less cancer if you're using sunscreen. I'm more afraid of the Zyto or the estrogen mimicking things.
And the vitamin D absorption, you're not really getting any, because we had roofers here in Texas, Hispanic, on the roofs all day putting up shingles, and their vitamin D on their lab was still low.
Never goes past 42. I've only seen it go past that maybe 2 times in 30 years.
So that's a fallacy.
you have so many plastics and pesticides, and people that are on statin drugs, lowering their cholesterol, they're not going to convert to vitamin D anyway, because it's not even a vitamin. It's a hormone that needs cholesterol to work. But I would say take vitamin D. Yes, sun is good, and yes, we need to get out more in nature, but I don't think it's sufficient for optimal health.
And speaking of statins, we have Richard that's asking a question about someone, how you recommend supplements when someone's taking medication, and do you get a list of their meds? And Fran said that's a good question. So there's 2 people wanting to know about that. What if someone's taking medications? How do you give them supplementation?
Thank you, Fran. I didn't even know you piped up. I love that lady too. But yes, we want to know about it because if you're on like an SSRI, serotonin reuptake inhibitor, I want to know about it because if we give you something to create more serotonin, it needs to be taken away from it and safely. If you're on blood thinners, I certainly want to know that because we don't want to give you vitamin K or vitamin E or a fish oil. Or you can have an MD that can say, okay, you're taking these supplements, now your blood is thinner, and let's cut back on the warfarin or Coumadin. And there's a lot of medical doctors that are very, very okay with doing that. Yeah, we do want to know the drugs, and the drugs always take away the nutrients you don't have enough of anyway. So we want to know about it from two different angles.
And more importantly, we will not take you off of any drugs. We will work around that.
Yeah, I always tell people, I'm a chiropractor. I'm not going to make a medical decision. Your MDs are way, way better at the drug thing than I am. They do a really good job. So we're working better and better with the medical profession, the MDs, the DOs, the nurse practitioners, et cetera, et cetera.
And once again, our show's come to an end, but we hope you have learned something and now know if you need to detox. And
the answer is yes, you do.
Yes, go to our website, fill out the health survey, get started, start having a life worth living. This is a brand new year still. We're just coming into spring. It's time for you to come into yours as well. So we will be here next time with another exciting show. And please send us your questions. You guys have a very blessed week.
Once again, our show has come to an end, but your hope in your health is only beginning. If you or a loved one are in need of a different outcome and are waiting for a brighter future, take the first step and go to our website and fill out the health survey. Please don't keep us a secret. If you know someone that could benefit from this podcast, please share this show with your friends and family. You are only one step away from a life worth living.